Welcome to the TC Dojo from Single Sourcing Solutions. The TC Dojo is a TechCom community that is driven by you. Tell us what you want to learn. You choose the topics, and we find the experts. In the TC Dojo open session today, we are lucky to have Erin Whittemer and Danielle Matthews as our visiting TC Dojo Masters. Erin is a PMP certified technical writer for DSS, Inc. Over the last 10 years, she's worked as a hardware and software technical writer for both Fortune 500 companies and government contractors. Her work with the VA and the Department of Defense has trained her to carefully adhere to federal accessibility and privacy standards. Danielle also is PMP certified technical writer for DSS Inc. She has previous experience as software trainer, a counselor, and a teacher. Her experience in education across multiple fields has provided her with excellent tools to understand and accurately convey the intended message for a variety of audiences. Now, if you're going to STC Summit coming up in May, they'll be teaching a workshop on this very same topic, and you can still sign up to attend. We're grateful that they agreed to be our visiting dojo masters today to give you the basics and somewhere to start.
So in this presentation, we're going to show you how to make sure your Word documents can be fully accessed by all users and meet both the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA, and Federal Section 508 standards. We'll define accessibility, and then we'll go through the steps in Word for things like text, images, and links. So to begin, let's define accessibility. Accessibility ensures that everyone can perceive, operate, and understand information and technology. So the ADA Title II and III refer to the public sector responsibility for non-discrimination and equal use of products and services. Section 508 is a part of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. It was updated in 2018 to address the latest in information and communication technology. These standards provide requirements for how to make your products and documentation accessible to everyone, regardless of their ability. The disability considerations for technical documentation include visual, hearing, and mobility. Documentation must be accurately read by screen readers and refreshable braille displays, as well as proper color and design for those with sight disabilities who do not use assistive technology. So if your documentation or help content contain audio elements, the audio content must be duplicated with captioning and descriptions for those with hearing disabilities. Mobility disabilities are often ignored where documentation is concerned, but mobility can be a serious concern for those who cannot use a mouse, for example. So users must be able to access all the information in the document through keyboard controls and other mobility assistive technology. So proper formatting is key here to creating fully accessible technical communication.
For simplicity's sake, this presentation shows how to write accessible documentation in Microsoft Word. Most of us have experience using Word, and the same accessibility principles and techniques discussed here also apply to other TechCom software like FrameMaker, RoboHelp, or Madcap Flare. To start, make sure you're using the latest version of the software. Use an established accessible design template, or create your own accessible template with standard heading styles. Don't use ad hoc formatting because assistive technology has trouble reading custom styles. Make sure your file is not protected. If the file is protected, assistive technology cannot read the file. And lastly, make sure that you save the file with the descriptive file name to help people correctly identify the file. So let's start with headings and document navigation order. First, open the View tab located in the heading bar and check the navigation pane box. This opens the navigation column on the left side of your document. The navigation pane outline will help you identify errors in your headings and formatting and show you the order that assistive technology will read the document.
If you include lists and columns in your document, use the formatting tools that are already in Word. Assistive technology cannot determine meaning if you try to format without using these tools, such as typing in the numbers or using dashes. The list settings in Word already has the bullets, the numbers, and the levels you can use to correctly set the format. Word also has a column option, so don't use tabs or spaces to create your own columns. If you do include tables in your document, those also must be formatted correctly to be accessible. So don't wrap text, merge cells, or split cells. If you have a complex data table, it's best to convert the document to a PDF first and use the accessibility features there. PDF accessibility tools allow you to label all the cells in a table so that assistive technology knows how to read the table content.
For documents that include text in more than one language, assistive technology, such as screen readers, may not correctly pronounce the words unless the text is formatted for the correct language. To do this, highlight the text in the secondary language, select the Review tab, select Language, and click Set Proofing Language. Choose the correct language from the list, and from there on, that particular text will be read in the language that it is written in. If you include hyperlinks in your documents, create a descriptive link name. This is the same as creating a descriptive file name when saving the document. When you use a descriptive name, the assistive technology conveys to the user exactly where the link goes and what the user will find there. For example, instead of using click here to learn more, use instead see the TC Dojo homepage, where TC Dojo is the link, for more information on upcoming sessions. To change the name of the link, right-click on it, choose Hyperlink from the list, and then edit in the Text to Display field. Headers, footers, and watermarks also present a challenge for assistive technology. AT doesn't automatically pick up on these features. If your document requires such features, as our government software manuals do, make sure to include this information somewhere else in the document body text, such as the title page. In the example here, we show the information in the footer is replicated in the title page.
If you include images in your document, you have to include alt text or alternative text. So alt text is a description of the image that is read by assistive technology. This text conveys the purpose of the image and lets the user know how the image relates to the text. So in Word, you right-click on the image and select alt text. Describe the image in 125 characters or less. And then for the image itself, use editing tools such as Snagit to focus on the exact topic area instead of the full window. And do not add anything to the image, such as red circles, boxes, arrows, or text callouts. And never, never use images of tables. Assistive technology cannot read this, and alt text doesn't allow enough characters to type out the table information. The next slide has a few examples of what not to do. So the first image is a screenshot of a flowchart. As I mentioned before, assistive technology can't describe each box in the flowchart because it's just an image of the chart. The alt text box isn't the place to type out so much information. The second image shows text callouts all around the image. Instead of text callouts, use bullet points before or after the image in the actual text. The third image, there's just too many red boxes. Besides looking tacky, the color may pose a problem for some users. So use focus screenshots or write the text to explain the order, such as from left to right, these are the functions. Now, this isn't just for those with visual impairments. Those with physical motion limits who rely on keyboard commands to navigate through documents and web pages need to be able to move in a linear fashion to access all the information and functions. As we mentioned in a previous slide, to add the alt text to an image, right-click and select Edit Alt Text, or right-click and select Format Picture, then alt text, depending on your version of Word. This screenshot shows what the alt text dialog looks like. So type into the text box, and if the image is purely decorative, such as a logo, click the checkbox for Mark as Decorative. So these instructions are for Microsoft Word. The process is similar in other brands of documentation. So image placement is also a factor in making documents accessible. Make sure all images are in line with the text so that assistive technology can read the image alt text in the order it should appear in the document. In this slide, we provide the steps to place an image or object in line with text in Microsoft Word, but the steps are similar in other brands of documentation software. So, the image, go to Picture Tools, Format, and Position, and then click Inline with Text option.
Color formatting is also important in making documents accessible. Some users may have color blindness, and some color combinations cause difficulty by making the text seem blurry. Some users may not be able to read smaller print, especially with certain background colors. Never use only a color to denote something such as red to signify something is urgent, unless the actual word urgent is there. Those with visual disabilities, including color blindness, will not be able to tell what you're trying to communicate if you only use color to denote something. So make sure that all colors and visuals are adequate for all users, and make sure the contrast ratio between text and background is sufficient. There are several free color analyzers you can use to help you check your color contrasts. We've provided one here and a link in the slide that we've used in the past, but feel free to do your own research and use the tools that work best for you. This chart shows good and bad color contrast examples. It also provides the recommended color ratio for the colors used. You can use a color analyzer like the one mentioned in the last slide to test your use of color for accessibility in your documentation. And you can see too, like especially in the dark green text on a red background, how it makes the text look blurry. That goes for anybody. And so these accessibility standards are really best practices for anybody trying to use your documentation. Any added audio, video, or multimedia files embedded into a document must have additional written information, such as a complete text transcript or a description if it's only audio or only video. If it's multimedia, meaning both audio and video, use captions for the audio and descriptions for the visuals. Many of us deliver documentation to end users in PDF form. The secret to creating an accessible PDF is to create a well-formatted, accessible source document first. In this presentation, we've shown how to do that in Word, but the same principles apply when working in FrameMaker, Madcap Flare, RoboHelp, or any other documentation software. After you've converted your documentation to PDF, there are a few setup steps to perform in the PDF, and then you can apply the PDF accessibility check. This is an accessibility checking tool that is provided in Adobe Acrobat. The tool searches the document for formatting items that do not comply with accessibility standards. It flags all of these instances and provides a report that can be used to remediate the document's accessibility problems. This report is also a great way to identify common formatting errors in your documentation. The best practice to fix accessibility errors in PDFs is to fix the errors in the source document first, and then regenerate the PDF and rerun the accessibility check. For those of you interested in more information on PDF accessibility, we're teaching a half-day workshop on writing for accessibility and privacy protection at the STC Summit 2020 in Seattle this year. We'd love to see you there.
Thanks for letting us present this session on accessibility in technical documents. Liz, we're honored you've asked us to do this, and we are now open to questions if anyone has them.
Wow, that was really good. I got things that seem obvious as soon as you say it, but you don't think about it in advance. And like even in the first few minutes. Thank you so much for doing this. Now it's time to type in those questions if you haven't already. And while you do, here's a look at what's coming up. The TC Dojo Mastermind Groups are monthly driven member discussion groups where attendees present their specific challenges to a group of their peers in a confidential, supportive environment. A mastermind is a collaborative environment where everyone lends their experience to each other. They can get feedback and advice about topics on their mind in real time from others who've been in their shoes. It's been amazing to participate in and a lot of fun too. We have 3 going on right now. One is everything TechCom, data, topic-based authoring, the specifics of cross-references or graphics. The other 2 are product-focused on Windchill for IT and ArborText users. These sessions are not free. They're a way to guarantee commitment between the participants. You can sign up at the TC Dojo website at mastermind.tcdojo.org. We know sometimes magic is just having the time to collaborate with someone who's been where you are. Next time in the TC Dojo, we've got using Confluence for external-facing product documentation. I know this is something that comes up in the voting every once in a while. We've got Romy Sina from Siemens AG, and she's going to talk about how they have been using it for a bunch of years now and how they're also using topic-based writing in order to make it work better with Confluence. So be sure to get that. That's next month. And how do you do that? You go to www.tcdojo.org, and it'll take you to this page, and it'll show you what's coming up for the next few months. All right, for writing for the web, we need to do 3 things. 1, color contrast. 2, write descriptive links. And 3, add alt text for images. Is that right?
That is the case. You also need to make sure that it's navigable by keyboard only, and any other assistive technology that might be necessary. So there's more regulations for web, and most of it's navigational stuff, so that people who can't use a mouse or can't use a keyboard can still navigate your website or online content correctly.
All right, let us know if that answers your question. It sounds like a good topic for a follow-up session.
Definitely.
Here's another one. Are PDFs inherently inaccessible? Have you seen a shift away from PDFs because of accessibility issues?
Not at all. I haven't. I don't think they're inherently inaccessible because they have accessibility tools built in. What do you think, Danielle?
I agree. I think more people are actually going towards PDFs. So we can always present a follow-up session on accessibility in PDFs if Liz wants us back. But there are plenty of tools in there to help you.
All right, let us know if that answers your question. We have, okay, thanks, and thank you. That's great. Everybody, I think you maybe have blown some minds away, either that or we all want to go sit quietly with your slides and improve the things that we do every day. I know that's my case for sure. All right, anybody else? This is your chance to talk to Erin and Danielle live if you're not going to be at Summit in May. I can only imagine what your session's going to be. What are you going to cover? Where are you going more in depth in the workshop?
It'll be hands-on, and so we're going to go over broad principles and then do hands-on exercises with Word and PDF.
Awesome. I see one of the attendees says, "I'll see you in Seattle."
Excellent.
That's great.
That's
yeah,
great.
we're also going to cover privacy laws and information referring to documentation. So it'll be both accessibility and privacy, and users can actually bring us some of their work that we can help them with.
Excellent. So there you go. Here's your chance to have 2 experts look at what you're doing if you are in Seattle. Very exciting. Wow, that was the fastest session that was so packed full of super clear information. I can't begin to tell you how great that was.
Thanks, Liz.
We are honored that you would have us present, and thank you
totally
very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming to the Single Sourcing Solutions TC Dojo, where it's all about you, what you want to learn. You should always attend a webinar live because you can't ask questions of a video. Subscribe to our TC Dojo mailing list at join.tcdojo.org and never miss another. Every month, we go out and find experts willing to share their expertise based on your votes in the TC Dojo survey. Why should we tell you what to learn? You should tell us. So be sure to vote at survey.tcdojo.org. The TC Dojo is our pleasure to host. As always, if you need more personal help, we're here to take you from the basics to mastery. See you next time.